I'm wearing Saturnian gray today. It's a gray day. Alright, so when I was young, I wanted to kill myself. So I did things. I used to hang out of the windows of the upstairs bedroom. I just climb out, hang onto the edge, the ledge. And I thought maybe I'll slip or something. Maybe I'll accidentally fall. I didn't realize it at the time, but somehow I had that sense within me. So I was like 4 or 5. And I used to hang there, and then I would hang until I couldn't hang on anymore. Then I didn't have the guts to let go, so I pulled myself up. Remember, I'd have all this chalk on my hands and feet all the time. And I don't know how many times I did it, but I did it enough to realize that life was worth living. There's reasons. The only time I almost let go, I couldn't hang on any longer. My mother's image flashed in my mind, and I didn't want to hurt her, so I climbed in. And then I got that out of my system. No one knew about it. Now, not everyone that does that is so fortunate. Sometimes accidents do happen where they go through with it. And they're so young, you know. But it doesn't matter what age you are, we're always learning. But this was something that I was lucky enough to survive and get out of my system and see the world through a different perspective, I guess, than most people. I didn't really have the words for value, but I knew what it felt like, and it was in very simple things. I feel because I didn't hold that repression, it didn't rule me through dynamics in the world. I would go through periods of self-destruction off and on, but nothing too major. It was working the nihilism out of my psyche. Through understanding, it's just a tiredness. It's a weariness. It's a resignation. It's like if you're carrying something really heavy and it's got a sharp edge and it's digging into your hands and you've only got a little bit further to go. When you let it go, you'll lose everything that you used to get to where you got, basically. It puts you in contact with ego, with pride, with power, with reasons. Why do we hang on to things? What is the real value? I didn't know the real value while I was hanging onto the windowsill, till many, many years later. I didn't need the words. Feeling was in me. And that feeling, instead of the darkness possessing me, this feeling of what the fuck could it be for, what's the positive here, was sparking me. Because the other question, I guess, had been answered. It just wasn't realized. Or able to be seen in real time. So a gray day. Many gray days. When you have many gray days and the sun comes out, it's really powerful. That makes all the gray days worth it. Because if it was always sunny out, you wouldn't realize how beautiful it was. that's one blessing of living in the north, or at one of the extremes of the poles. You understand the variance. That's what life teaches, but before we realize what it is, the fire gets used on the process, so we don't often have realized awareness of the self. So living for something, always. We just don't realize what it is in real time most of the time. But if we could, and of course you can't choose awareness, it just comes, it arises, but you can choose the potential of what that awareness is, and you can cut yourself slack, and you can be open to different things. When you're open to different things, the world will try and jam a bunch of stuff in there and give you all this icon to hang on to magnify or to find resonance with something within you that can find solace in what that is. People, places, things. But if you can hold it for yourself as if you're cultivating something, then if something isn't truly in alignment with you, you don't hang on to it out of anything other than the truth. It's not a shadow progression at that point. Sirens are always going off. So this year I've seen a lot of predatory animals. Last year I saw a lot of rabbits. This year we got like 5 litters of feral cats, alley cats going. I've seen 5 eagles in the neighborhood just walking around. Probably the same one, or a family. But I have not seen many eagles in the neighborhood, so that's new. It's a very powerful predatory animal, but it is a higher perspective. It's, lightning strikes, it is more precise, aware. I have seen a turkey and 2 rabbits running. So that's unusual as well. So all this crazy talk, all these signs, when you read these things in life, it's not really so much what is out there, it's what is gnawing at you within yourself. You're trying to find the language for, so you're finding the connections. And then sometimes you find a connection, the world winks at you and you get these synchronicities and you just feel like, okay, I'm in some flow. I never analyze flows, I just go. If I analyze it, then I've lost it. So the omens of life, I ignore most of them. I mean, I take them in, I acknowledge them, and I let them go. But sometimes they're profound. Alright, so the dragon year here. Algol at 25, fixed star, Medusa stare at 25 Taurus. Jupiter is about to be conjunct this, fixed star. With the light of Uranus, though. Pulling, like imagine Uranus is this electrical charge settling into form. It's slowly losing speed as it's progressing through the tail end of Taurus, Western Tropical speaking. And Mars or Jupiter comes along, expanding it. And what is expansion really? It's just progression. It's a realization of progression. Dilution from what had been a solid known to the death of an absolution for a new creation. So this charge that Uranus is holding is magnetized to Jupiter. Jupiter's bringing it through over the top, over the veil of Algol. The darkness, the karmic bonds of our ancestral lines through learning really life lessons, basically. The cost of power, mercy, kindness, hate, what good and evil is within us and how we express it in the world, and how we can break it down into just simple golden rule type stuff. But how that doesn't really hold value in a world that's changing according to other cycles, other progressions, other seasons. So we become the dynamics, in this, because we're a slower fading static of existence in this conscious sense of self or other. So we're changing through this, we may be able to see through the shadows a little bit more deeply. We may be tested more. The world may stare harder at you. You may stare deeper into the abyss to understand what the hell it is. And maybe it stares into you and it pulls you deeper in, but your process is something that is part of your awareness in the here-now moment. The results become the process. When I'm depressed, when I'm down, I really don't give a shit about process, results, or any of that. I'm just here now. So that's why Saturn benefits people by giving a sense of value and routine, and that's a drive to externalized energy, expression. No one sleeps forever. We're always waking. Usually we're waking up every morning, depending on your shift. So how do you bring in the change of your sense of self, the value of yourself, knowing that you were ecstatic in relation to experience so that you can hold the charge, dissipate it, transform it, and bring it to a maturation, which is what Uranus is. It's a continuation of the first men, the eternal memory, life. The yang, which arises through the yin. And the progenies of cycle are under that domain, at least for this time. In the future, who knows how our psyche will read these things. But to me, it's like I don't really want to hold canon to the meanings of things so much as understand the dynamics for practical use. Communicating that as a practical use, it's a valuable use, so I'm doing that. So embracing your change, how do you truly find unity without being the same? If you're the same, you're not really unified, you're one thing. So unity infers difference, individuality. So you can bring your resonance in through understanding that you aren't who you were, you're always growing. And it's about settling on things, and sometimes it can't be a choice, it's just a process of our emotional flows. But we can do things to help aid that in the meantime, like schedules, routines, reasons, good reasons. Just finding good reasons, that's simple as a lot of things can be sometimes. Forget the oneness ideas. Forget the God ideas. Make life worthy. If you want to thank God for life, live the best life you can. If you don't believe in God, but you just want to live a good life, then live the best life you can. Be aware of your past so that you can enrich what it is and you can mutate, grow the myth of who you are. Doesn't mean that you have to put away every vice or everything you do. It just means that you're picking up positive things too. Eventually you get tired of carrying all this shit and you just start dropping things. You know, usually it's when people have a health scare that shows them the necessity of the change, and it helps give them a spirit of meaning as to why. It's really messed up, but the world is so complex and so full on that we fall into waiting for mommy and daddy to give us rules and regulations and ways to do stuff. But when you return to the self, you don't need the governance so much. So you're living in alignment with a natural expression of being. Golden rule is like something you can feel and you can build upon it, and when you see other people's religions, systems, statics start to deviate from golden rule and fall into the ego realm, that's when you draw the line. You say, I'm cutting bait with that. I respect your position, but if you step on my feet, something might happen. And then you just let primal life unfold. And you respond as you value yourself. What's worth your time, your energy? I think the future is worth that. I don't know where this message came from or where it's going, but here it is. So thanks for watching, listening, and being.